Hey. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to, we are restarting podcast, Truthful Conversations with Jolie Rashawn. Thank you guys so much for those that will be tuning in, those that are on um, Instagram, those that are on Facebook, those that are on YouTube, all social media platforms. This will be uploaded to Spotify as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are coming back to you live every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Let me give one of our sponsors. We are sponsoring Amazon for our MRZ 10-inch LED selfie ring lights. Thank you so much for this amazing gift. This was one of my prizes for winning National Mrs. AWB 2023-2024. So want to shout them out. This has been amazing. So thank you so much for being an official sponsor. Definitely want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know it has been a while, but it is okay. We are back. We are in the building. Hello on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Want to jump right into it. I know I have been gone for a while, so I am ready to get back connected with my audience. If you are listening, please share. Please tag someone to join in. You do not want to miss these amazing topics. We're going to first start off with, just me talking about some different topics, but probably going into the month of September, I will start to have guests on. So if you are interested in being a guest on Truthful Conversations with Jolie Rashawn, please reach out. Let's set something up. Let's get people on. Let's hear your truth, because this platform is all about healthy, truthful conversations. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So tonight I want to talk about, if for those that don't know, and for those that do know, I have a conference called Step in Your Truth. And a lot of times people ask, what is the conference about? What's the base of it? So I want to break down what my conference stands for and just kind of really dissect, so that way this can apply to each and every person, can apply to your personal life, can apply to whatever, your business, what have you. So let's get right into it. So our first word is step. And for me, I like to give definitions, and then I like to give some analogies and things of that sort. So I googled um, the word step. So step means it is an advance or movement made by raising the foot and bringing it down elsewhere. Another part of the definition said to move forward or to walk. It's a forward motion. So I Googled some pictures. Google is becoming my friend. So I Googled some pictures, and when you see the word step, or a picture that has step, it's always in the forward direction. It's never behind. The step is never to the side. But when we take a step, we naturally take a step forward. So stepping forward, moving forward, we're moving away from whatever position we were in before. So if we really want to get deep with this thing, I have a question to ask you. What's your next step? When we look at our lives, we have to ask ourselves, what direction are we stepping in? Where are you moving towards right now? Where are you going? When you say, hey, I'll be back, your initial movement is to move from where you are, and you're moving on to the next best thing. If I need groceries in the house, and I'm moving forward and going to the store, because I know that's where the source of what I need is. If I'm doing other things, I'm going to move in those directions. So what's the direction you're stepping in? Let that sink in. What is the direction that you are stepping in? When we look at our home lives, what direction are you stepping in? If you have children, your direction is usually to make sure they finish school. It's to make sure that they get the best education possible. It's things like that that we are working on. So we have to ask ourselves in our relationships. Let's talk about it. When we talk about relationships, sometimes we just think about, your sexual partner or things like that. But what about your friendships? Because those are relationships too. What direction are you stepping in when it comes to those friendships? Do you have healthy friendships? Do you have toxic friendships? Do you have, you're still trying to figure out what direction you're going in? Like, what about those relationships will cause you to move in the direction you are? Sometimes when we're in the wrong ships, it'll have us turned around where we think we're going in the right direction, but we're not. So we have to evaluate our steps. We have to evaluate what movement, where we're going in these areas of our lives. For our married people, let's talk about marriage. Sometimes we get married for the wrong reasons. Sometimes we're getting married for show, and then the direction that normal married people go in, we're not going because we got into it for the wrong reason. Sometimes in our marriage, our focus is off, so it causes us to step in the wrong direction. When you're married, you become one, so your steps should be ordered together. But because we have let things come in between, my steps are this way and his steps are this way. Is your marriage healthy? Are you stepping in the area towards really grooming each other, really building with each other, or are you letting other things come about and letting other things get in the way? Let's talk about ministry. Where stepping in your ministry? And I'm not talking about just the ministry on Sundays. I'm talking about your everyday ministry. If God is truly in your life, then your steps, the direction you're stepping in should be the same. It should not waver. It should not be one way today and another way tomorrow. Your steps should be the same at all times. In our ministry, we can allow the wrong type of influences to come in that can get us off track of where we're supposed to be moving. Remember, stepping is about moving forward. So if at any time we find ourselves moving backwards, we need to reevaluate where we're stepping, where we're going. Thank y'all for joining in again on Instagram. Thank you for joining in on Facebook, on YouTube, on all the social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're talking about stepping. What direction are you stepping in? We talked about our home and our different ships, relationships, our friendships, whatever those ships are. What are the directions? How are you moving in those? And then we're on marriage and ministry. What is the direction that you're moving in those? If for any reason, if you look at track, y'all, I love analogies. I love it. If you go to a track meet, if you go to a football game, if you go to a baseball game, if you go to a soccer game, if you go to swimming, you watch swimming, any of these things, if you watch NASCAR, if you watch horseback riding, what other sports do they have? If you watch, whatever, if you watch in track and field, they have the throwing thing, the heavy ball that they throw. I forgot what it's called. Shot put. You watch shot put. Everything that you watch, nobody is moving backwards. Shot put, they don't throw that ball backwards. They throw it forward because they need it to go, right? Football, when they catch that ball, they are not running backwards to the end zone. They are running forward to get to the end zone. If you watch basketball, they are not dribbling backwards to go backwards to the goal, to the to the rim. They going forward. Every sport, swimming, they are not swimming backwards. And if they're on their back, they're still moving forward. Nobody is swimming backwards. No, there is not a horse that's galloping backwards. There is nothing about sports or even NASCAR. They are not driving backwards around the track. They are driving forward. Remember, to step is to move forward. So what direction are you stepping in? What direction are you moving in? If everything else around you causes for them to move forward, there's no reason why you should be moving backwards. There is no reason why your emotion or your journey should not be taking you forward. It's funny. My husband works for American Airlines. And one day he was like, hey, I went to go pick him up, or I did something. I was in the airport. And he told me, he was like, come to this gate and you'll see me. So I got to the gate and I was looking for him. And he was in the tug. I guess that's what it's called. He'll correct me if it's not. But he was in the tug that pushes out the plane. Now, the significance to this, although, hello, thank you so much for joining me. The significance about him pushing out the plane is that the plane cannot reverse itself. See, the plane is even not made to go backwards. The plane is made to move forward. When it flies, we fly forward. The plane does not reverse and back up. So it needs someone to push it out backwards and get it in position so it can move forward. Everything that we are dealing with in our lives should cause for us to move forward. So if at any point we are evaluating our lives and we see that we are going backwards, we need to say, hey, wait a minute, something ain't right. Something ain't going right, because there's no reason why we should be going backwards. There's no reason why we should be going away from where we're supposed to be. Hey, good evening, good morning, good morning. Good evening, everyone that is joining in, that is watching. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We are talking about stepping, and stepping causes for us to move forward or to walk forward. It's a forward movement. So my question has been, what direction are you stepping in? What direction are you moving in? When we look at our business, how is your business set up? Is your business going forward, or is your business going backwards? Are you making progress in your business, or is your business spiraling out of control? What direction are you going in? If you look at where you started in your business and you look at it now, and it seems like you're in a worse position than where you were, you need to reevaluate what direction you're going in. What are you, how are you looking? Like, what are you doing? Sometimes I have to sit back and ask myself, Jolie, what are you doing? Jolie, why haven't you moved? Some move forward out of fear. Let me say that again. Sometimes we don't move forward out of fear, and we'll move backwards because we know what backwards does. We know what backwards hold. We know how to function backwards in the situations that we've already been in. We know how to manage those situations. But when you're moving forward, you don't know what's up ahead. So that can be intimidating. That could really cause fear. And some of us, we don't move forward because we are afraid of the unknown. When you look at your business, if you are a business owner, guess what? Moving forward is scary because it's scary enough already that you have your own business because it's something new. All of the weight is on your shoulders. Everything is on you. It's not like when you go clock into your job. Guess what? When I go clock into my job, I'm doing the bare minimum because I know my boss is responsible for whatever is going to happen. If something happens and somebody got a call or something goes wrong, I know the boss has to handle all of that. It is not on me. So guess what? Since now I have my own business, I don't have a boss to depend on. I have to say, Jolie, get it together. Jolie, this is your responsibility. Jolie, what are you doing with this? Jolie, come on, let's get it together. Jolie, come on, we got work to do. Jolie, come on, what's going on? What's going on? So in the business, we have to make sure that we're constantly moving forward. And in all of these, really, in moving forward, it's one step at a time. If you pull up right now, if you Google step, it's going to show you several pictures of some man form taking a step, whether he's walking up a step, whether he is just walking on the pavement, but it's going to show one foot in front of the other. Again, when I first gave the definition, it was an advance or movement made by raising the foot and bringing it down elsewhere. That means you are constantly taking one step at a time. You are constantly taking one step at a time. You are constantly taking one step at a time. So if the process requires one step at a time, why is it that we expect these elaborate and grand expectations when we're only supposed to be enjoying taking one step at a time? Sometimes we take one step and we want that to get us all the way to the end zone. We want that one step to already put us in the end zone for the touchdown. No, it don't work like that. The one step, guess what? I'm sorry, y'all. There's something in my eye. The one step, you can use each one of those steps to get somewhere. We have to stop wanting to make these elaborate things happen overnight. If I say, hey, you know what, Jolie, I see Stepping Your Truth Tour selling out arenas across the world. I do see that for real because I know that's going to happen. But it's going to take my steps one step at a time. Let's get 20 people in the room. Let's get 40 people in the room. Let's get 50 people in the room. Let's get 60 people in the room. Let's get 70 people in the room. It's going to take those baby steps before we can sell out an arena of thousands of people. But I have to be willing to do the work. I have to be willing to take the steps. If anybody has ever worked out and you have, hey, darling, hey, thank you for tuning in. If anybody has ever worked out, you know that if they say, hey, today we're going to get on the Stairmaster or we're gonna run up some steps. Now, I'm a little thicker than I was back then. But when I used to be a part of my workout group, we did things like finding a set of steps that had at least 7 or 8 steps. And we did up downs. Or they would tell us to go to the track and get to the bleachers. And we would do up downs. Run up, run down, that's 1. Run up, run down, that's 2. Run up, run down, that's 3. Guess what? After a while, my legs was burning. My calves was burning. I was tired. I was fatigued. I wanted to give up. I wanted to quit. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was tired. Why? I'm not seeing any results right now, so why should I keep doing this? But I had to remember what the end goal was. What is your goal for the steps you're making? So then it became every step I'm taking up, every step I'm taking down, every mile I'm running, everything I'm doing, it's all for a purpose. And today I just want you to really focus and ask yourself, what steps am I taking? What direction am I stepping in? Are my steps going to get me to my goal? Are my steps benefiting what I need in my life? And if your answer is no, guess what? It is okay, because you can always start your steps over again. Guess what? The one thing about making yourself move back forward. Hey, Miss Andrea. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. The one thing about when you purposely make yourself walk backwards, take steps backwards. I remember we would play Mother May I. And Mother May I, for those who don't know the game, you had to, hey, Miss Daphne, you had to ask. Mother May I would say, take, they would say, I'm going to use Miss Daphne since she don't know. Daphne, take 4 steps forward. And if Daphne didn't say, Mother May I, and Mother May I didn't say, yes, you may, if Daphne took those 4 steps forward, Mother May I was going to make her take them steps back. She was going to have to take double to go back. The one thing about when you are made to move backwards, you can always stop and change your direction and go back forward. You can always change the direction and go back forward. So anytime you find yourself going in the wrong direction, stepping in the wrong direction, and here's the thing, when you're trying to walk backwards, it is hard. It is hard. Have you ever just tried to walk around a track backwards? You're going to mess around and break something, because it's not meant for us to walk backwards. It's meant for us to move forward. So again, hey, good evening. So again, what direction are you stepping in? What direction should you be moving in? If we look at our life as a whole, I look at my life and everything that I have been through, the things that I have gone through. And I have to constantly ask myself, Jolie, are you continuing to move forward? Are you continuing to step in your purpose? Are you continuing to step in who you are, in your authentic self? Are you willing, and are you still stepping in your truth? And sometimes we are not walking forward like we need to, because we're trying to walk in somebody else's lane. We're trying to follow behind somebody else, and that's not what we're supposed to be. So I really want you to ask yourself, what direction are you stepping in? And if the question is you don't know, then you need to evaluate what is the direction that you want to step in. I gave the definition of step, and it is an advance or movement made by raising the foot and bringing it down elsewhere. A forward motion or a walk. So if you look at Google and you put in the word step, it's going to show the little man, the little figure man. He got the little motion like this, like he happy, and he walking up the steps. He's moving forward. Everything is about moving forward. Look at your circle. Do the people that surround you have you moving forward, or are they helping you to move backwards? Do the people around you encourage you or help you to move forward? Or are they putting you down and trying to convince you on why you should be going backwards? When you drive, you have the rear view mirror to show you what's behind you. Not necessarily for you to drive backwards and go back to where you are, but it's showing you what you're leaving. So in the midst of you moving forward, in the midst of you taking those steps, be reminded of where you're coming from. Be reminded of what you're leaving. Jolie, be reminded that you were once molested. Be reminded that you were once abused. Be reminded that you were once homeless with your children. Be reminded that you once had to sleep in your car with your children. Be reminded that you used to have to ride the bus with your children. Be reminded that you didn't have the support you needed. Be reminded that you once, not once, but twice tried to commit suicide. Be reminded that you went through depression. Be reminded of those things. And guess what? Each time that I'm reminded of something, my steps should continue forward. My steps should not take me back to where I'm trying to leave and where I'm trying to better myself from. So keep going, keep pushing. Guess what? It's going to hurt. It's going to burn. Sometimes it's going to be discouraging because you don't know where your steps are taking you. I know where I want my steps to take me. I see the bigger picture. Sometimes I get afraid? Yes. Sometimes I'm terrified. Lord, help me to walk in the right direction. Help me to take the necessary steps to get me to the vision that you're showing me. It's okay to be scared. Guess what? That's why at certain points it's not meant for you to walk by yourself. Sometimes God has to get you along so he can speak to you. So he can encourage you himself. So that way he can make sure you're good. That way he can make sure you know where your strength comes from. If we have people surrounded by us all the time, sometimes we can get clouded and think that our help, or think that, people are supposed to be helping us, that people are supposed to be there and taking the steps for us. Sometimes God has to get us by ourselves to remind us, hey, I got you. Hey, you good, keep going. I bring up the GPS all the time. I love the GPS. My GPS, I think I got a British lady now. I usually have a British man. I like the British accents. Beautiful. Speak to me, tell me where I need to go. But if I put in that I want to go to Alabama and go see my pageant bros and sisters out there, guess what? I'm going to put in my GPS. I'm going to put Alabama, right? And she's going to come on and she's going to say, starting route. In 600 miles, stay on Highway 20 or whatever. So I know for 600 miles, I'm good. I may have to stop for gas a couple of times. But let's just say if that's what she told me, right? So if I know I'm supposed to be on 20 for 600 miles, and when I get to the 250 mile mark, I make a turn. Guess what she gonna say? Rerouting. Because clearly, I'm not on the path of where I'm supposed to be going no more. She's going to let me know, ma'am, you have gotten off track. So the same way with our steps, when we get off track, when we stop taking those steps, or when the steps are not going forward anymore and they start to turn and go back the other way, sometimes we need that little tap. And God will give us that rerouting tap. Hey, what's up? Where you going? What's wrong? Talk to me. Explain to me what's wrong. Sometimes we don't want to talk to God because we're afraid. Sometimes we don't want to talk to people because it's easy to depend on people. It's so funny that we will put our faith, and I'm guilty of it. Trust me, everything I say, it hits me first. We love letting or putting our faith into the corporate America for our paychecks, right? And how many of us, y'all can raise y'all hand, even though I can't see y'all hands. So y'all when I ask this question, y'all put your hands, put your raised hands in the comments, okay? Instagram, put your hands in the raised comments if you watch it. How many of us, if we wake up, we get paid on Friday, right? And we wake up on Friday and our check ain't deposited. First of all, we gonna talk all kind of trash about why our check ain't here. And they got you messed up. And you gonna do this. And you gonna do that. And I'm finna call them and tell them about themselves. And you call and you're so nice. And they tell you gotta wait another week for your check. Or you gotta wait It's Friday now. You gotta wait till Tuesday for them to cut you another check. Now we just talked all this trash on the phone, or before we got on the phone about what we was gonna do. We put all that faith in corporate America, but we wait on them. But we won't put our own steps into our own business. Not saying you gotta quit your job. Not telling nobody to walk away from their job. But if you have your own business, why don't we put that much trust into ourselves, in our relationships, in everything we do? As much faith and as much trust we put into corporate America to pay us, even though they mess up constantly, we won't put that same trust in ourselves, and we definitely won't put that same trust in God to say, God, I know you got me. I know you got me. Today, let me just start with posting. Let me post consistently today. Let me post consistently tomorrow. Let me show up consistently today. Let me show up consistently next week. Let me keep going. Let me get my classes in order. Let me get my paperwork good. Let me get all of these other things good. So that way, as each time I take my step, each time I move forward, I'm accomplishing something else. I'm accomplishing something else. I'm accomplishing something else. Let me check that off my list. Oh, my list long. Some of us, we have a long checklist. And looking at the list, we get overwhelmed because we feel like we can't accomplish what's on the list, or we're not accomplishing until you really stop to check off all of the things that you're doing. And guess what? Some of the things may be real small, but each step, you're doing something. Each step you're taking, you're accomplishing something. And before you know it, half of your checklist is completed. And you're like, wow, all I had to do was keep moving. All I had to do was keep moving forward. All I had to do was keep taking those steps. And it's going to happen. All I had to do was keep moving. All I had to do was keep going. And the more you go, the more you're going to accomplish. The more you're going to see the direction that you're going in. The more you're going to see that, oh my goodness, if I just keep moving, if I just keep moving. Hey, Dr. Jerry, if I just keep moving, things are going to happen. I tell anybody, failing is not that you didn't win. Failing is when you stop trying. When you say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to stop. I can't do this anymore. That's when you have failed. That's when you have thrown in the towel. When you get a little white towel and you say, that's it, I'm done. Now you have failed. I am never going to stop. I'm never going to stop. I'm not going to compare myself to others, because we look at other people's journey and we think, oh my God, their journey is so amazing. Why am I not where they are? Be careful what you ask for. Be careful to try not to walk in other people's shoes. Sometimes we see other people and we like, man, I wish I was doing that. Stop saying that. I had to get out of that. Stop wishing for other people's lane, because you don't know, first of all, what they had to go through to get there, and you definitely don't know what they're doing to maintain it. Some things we see, it looks so great on the outside. It looks like everything is going good. And as soon as you insert yourself into what they're doing, you see that this was not a good idea. You see that sometimes the grass that looks greener on the other side, it ain't real. You see that sometimes the grass is on the other side, you're not able to water it. you're not able to maintain it. You're not able to do anything with it because it's a mirage. If you it's ever seen outside when it's so hot and you walking and you look like you see the puddle of water up there, and you're like, oh my goodness, if I can just get to the water. Oh, it's water up there. And then you get up there and it's nothing there. The closer you get, you see okay, where was the water that I thought I saw? It was all a mirage. So sometimes we think that if we move with somebody else, hey, if I can get what this person got, I'll be all right. This person making all this money. Well, maybe if I do what they doing, then I can make all this money. But now you've lost the direction you're supposed to be going in because you're trying to go in the direction of somebody else's. If I ain't speaking to nobody else, I'm speaking to me. Because there have been plenty of times where I tried to step into somebody else's lane, or somebody told me you should come and try to do what I'm doing, and that didn't work for me because that's not where my steps are supposed to be going. And I had to get to the point where I had to say, you know what, Jolie, enjoy each step, enjoy the journey, enjoy the flowers. You know, I just talked about how it looks like a mirage. When I was in the store, this plant, it looked so beautiful. I was like, oh my God, the plant is so green, so pretty. And then once I touched it, I saw that I couldn't take it out. I saw that I couldn't water it. I saw that it was plastic and it was just for show. Sometimes people will show you things that they say they have and they don't really have because it's just for show. Don't let your steps take you in a place where you're just for show. Let your steps take you in a place where you're going to be the example, where you're going to be the encouragement to somebody else to take the journey. I'll tell anybody, honey, these steps, you don't want to walk in these shoes. These shoes were custom made for me because God knew I could handle the steps that I had to take. But you can encourage them to enjoy your steps. Enjoy where God is taking you. Enjoy the scenery. I love driving. So when we're out driving, I'm looking at the scenery. I'm looking at the different, hills and mountains and things like that. That excites me because I'm like, oh, wow, it's so beautiful out here. So where are your steps taking you? That's all I wanted to share with you today. Just ask yourself, what direction are you stepping in? What direction are your steps taking you in? What direction are you wanting your feet to take you? If you don't remember anything else, when you get up, even once you get up from the lie, once you start moving, look at how your feet are moving forward. And just make a list of everywhere you want your feet to take you, where you want your steps to take you. I know where I want my steps to take me, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there soon enough. But until I do, I'm going to enjoy. Hey, Miss Cynthia, you have to do, hey, Zuma, we're going to enjoy the path that God has for us. We're going to enjoy each step. Trust me, each step you take, make it count. Make it count. Make it count for you. Because at the end of the day, you are accountable for your steps. I know where I'm stepping. Do you know where you're stepping? I thank y'all for tuning in tonight, talking about stepping. What direction are you stepping in? Next week, Monday, we're going to talk about the word in and what that means for you, what that means for us. Yes, indeed. Guide my feet and be a light unto my path, oh God. And he talks about it. He talks about leading our steps. He talks about guiding us. So I thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Central. Tell a friend. Make sure you tune in. Thank you so much to my pageant family joining in. I've seen so many faces. Thank you to my people joining in on Instagram, on Facebook. I couldn't even see everybody, but next week we're gonna have some more things set up, and I'm grateful to be back. Um, you guys stay tuned for more things to come. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, definitely inbox me. Again, thank you so much to MRZ LED selfie ring light. It is amazing. I am using it right now, so I'm so grateful for this gift. Thank you so much. Love you more. Thank you. Thank you. We will have more sponsors on, so I will highlight a sponsor each week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate the love, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.